Hey everyone, Vinay here from Process Street, and in this video I'm just going to run through a few examples of how to use the checklist run link feature. So for a quick introduction, the checklist run link can be found by opening the template menu, clicking on the cog next to the template name or inside the template, clicking on the More button, and then finding the Run Checklist Link option in the second menu. The Run Checklist link is essentially a shortcut to finding the template that you're looking for and then pressing the Run Checklist button. Now, while this may seem simple, and it is, there's a lot of interesting use cases that can actually come from using this link. Plus, it has some more advanced functionality that we'll get into in a second. So when I click the Run Checklist link option, it will bring up this screen that basically has the run link, which is the URL that you can use to trigger new checklists off your template. If I copy this link and I paste it into a browser, it will run a new instance of the employee onboarding template that I'm currently looking at. So you can see here, this is an employee onboarding template. There are 3 checklists that are currently active, but after this one has run, there's actually going to create a new checklist here, which is currently called Vinay's 3:57 p.m. checklist. And you can see now that there's actually 4 checklists that have been run against this template. And so at its simplest form, that's what a run link does. It's just a link that you can paste into a browser or click on or send to somebody. And if they click it, it will immediately take them straight into the checklist so that they can start working on it straight into this view, instead of sending them, say, to the template and then asking them to run the checklist, or going and running the checklist yourself and then getting the link of the checklist and sending it to them afterwards. The basic run link can be used in a lot of different places. You can send it to someone via an email, you can share it in Slack, or you can keep the link in some other type of document or resource that you might use. For example, in an Evernote note or a Google Doc or a WordPress membership site where maybe you want people to come in and run the checklists from clicking the link, but there isn't really much need for them to go and edit the template or even view the template for that matter. But where the run link gets really powerful is we can actually use it to pass data into the form fields of that checklist. So if I open up the link options option here, it's now giving me the option to pass data from other apps via this URL. So when I click on add variable, I'm going to see all the form fields that are in my template. I can pass data to any of these fields using this run link URL. And this is where it becomes very powerful. So I can, for example, pass the checklist name, I can pass the employee's name, I can pass the client's name. Now, the fields that you're currently able to pass with the run link are text fields, email fields, paragraph fields, and website fields. Once you've constructed your link with the fields that you want to pass, you're now ready to use it in other apps. I'm going to give you 2 different examples of how you could use a link like this in other apps that you might use. The first example I'm going to show you is a sales qualification process that is hooked into a CRM using a run link. So first I'm going to get my run link. I'm going to add my variables to it, such as the customer email and the customer name. And then I'm going to copy my link. I'm going to browse to Close.io in my settings options, and I'm going to add a new integration link. Here I'm going to call it qualification process, and then I'm going to paste in my run link. As you can see, when I'm building the run link, the areas that I need to populate, or the variables that I need to populate, are marked with a triple X. So those should be replaced with whatever the data is you're trying to pass through to this checklist. In this case, I want to pass through the customer email and the customer name. To do this, I first need to change my type of integration link to contact. And then I need to scroll over here to my form field customer email, and I'm going to just select the 3 X's, and I'm going to replace that with this variable here that they've given me, which is contact primary email. Next, I'm going to go to my customer name field, I'm going to replace our XXX here with contact name. And that's it. Now my RunLink qualification process is set up. If I head back to my lead now, I can see a new RunLink that's appeared here, qualification process. If I click that, it's going to automatically start the process and fill in any of the form fields that I pass through. In this case, we're doing a BANT sales qualification process, and the two fields that I chose to pass through were the customer name and the customer email, and you can see those have mapped against the information in my CRM. This is a great way to control the CRM when doing qualification calls or demos, because I can enforce consistency in my CRM. The way that the process works for us here internally at Process Street is our sales rep will actually work through this checklist, going through answering any questions, figuring out what they need to use the product for, what budget the customer has, what kind of timeline they have on making a decision. And when they're finished, they'll actually check this check to create opportunity box. And using Zapier, that will actually go and create an opportunity in the CRM. And when they're finished, they'll check this one, which will push the data to the CRM, which will actually construct a note out of all the information that they've gone through and filled out in this process, and send that note back to Close.io. If you want to see more on how to set up that two-way sync integration with the CRM or your help desk tool, check out our help article on Zapier, and there's some videos in there on how to set that up. So integrating with a CRM or a help desk tool by creating run links here that allow you to kick off checklists very quickly and automatically pass information to that checklist, allowing for a reverse sync, is a very good use case for the run link. Another use case that you could look at would be using an email marketing tool such as MailChimp. In here I'm in MailChimp and I have just created a basic end of year tax campaign. Maybe you send out a end of year email to your employees about asking them how they're going to do their taxes or whether they need certain tax services. That could be one example. Another example could be sending out monthly or quarterly reviews. They could be surveys for giving feedback from employees. Lots of different reasons that you might want to send out an email that includes the run link. So in this example, if I was going to say link some of my text to the run link, I would simply select my text and paste in the run link. Every time somebody clicked on this link, it would generate a new checklist with their customer email would be XXX and their name would be XXX. The problem with that is you don't actually know who clicked on the link. If we wanted to know who clicked on the link and created that checklist, we'd be able to do that by populating these XXXs with information from the contact that we're sending this email to. To do this, I'm first going to need to get the merge tags that I want to use from MailChimp. In this example, I'm going to use first name and I'm going to use email address as the two merge tags. You can see MailChimp has slightly different merge tags to Close.io, but they're generally some type of similar structure like this. Brackets on the end, asterisks on the end, slashes on the end, something to identify that it's not a real word, but it's more of a shortcode. I'm going to paste in my run link here, and then I'm going to just construct or replace these XXXs with the merge tag fields that I want. Now I have my final URL for MailChimp. I'm able to add this as a link to any of my text simply by clicking the link button and pasting it in. That will hyperlink this text, and now once I send the campaign, anybody who clicks on this link will automatically create a new checklist and populate the name field and the email field with the name and the email of the person that I sent the email to. So if I had a list of 100 people and 100 people clicked on it, that would create 100 checklists with the email address of the person that clicked on it filled in as one of the form fields. You can also use a hidden field if you don't want them to see that you're capturing their email address like that. These are just a few ways that you can use the checklist run link. If you have any questions about this, please contact support and we'll be happy to help you out. And we'd also love to hear if you figure out any other interesting ways of using the run link. Thanks for watching.